Ich sitze hier backstage beim Haldern Pop Festival mit Rob von The Slow Show. Hi Rob, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I've heard it's not your first day of the festival, although it's the last one of Haldern Pop Festival 2015. So how come you've been here for quite a while?
Well, it's because it's a lovely place to be, so any excuse we could get to stay longer, we gladly took it. We've also been rehearsing. We've got 58 people joining us on stage this evening, so we've been rehearsing with all of those, a choir, the Stargaze Orchestra and the Cantorstormers Choir, so we've been busy.
I mean, I know your record, and some of the listeners might know the whole one too, which is also, I would say, you know, full of thrilling arrangements and stuff, but this sounds like the thing you do once or twice in a lifetime.
Yes, yeah, it's an absolute privilege. I don't think we'll ever get used to it. You know, I mean, the record's got choirs on and it has orchestras and an orchestra from Manchester, but to be able to recreate that live is just something we really didn't expect we'd get the chance to do. So it's a huge opportunity. We're really, really excited.
So how come that this is going to happen? Is it because you are a band that is at Haldern Pop label? And
yes, I think so. Although I think it happens to other bands that just play here. I think that's what makes it such a unique festival. I think having the Stargaze and the Cantorstormers collaborations is something that happens a lot, from what I understand. But it's certainly something Stefan wanted us to do, and we did. We did a similar thing last year, but much smaller, only a few members of the orchestra and a smaller group of the choir. But this year it's going to be lots of people.
How nervous are you, to be honest?
I think for this one it's different because even just the practicalities of getting 60 people on stage and making the sound work and nice. But I think it's just such a big opportunity. We couldn't say no. So I think there's a certain amount of nervousness about this show, just because it's such an opportunity and we really want to make the most of it.
I read that you say success means people listen to our music, and I think that's the best a band can get: people who listen to their music and not just get entertained. How difficult is it nowadays?
I think it depends where you are, perhaps, but I think that's why we really enjoyed being in mainland Europe to start with. We got the opportunity to come here really on in our career in Germany and Switzerland and Holland, and I think you get much more of an opportunity. People give you a chance. I think it can be tricky in the UK and to play to big audiences that are quiet and listen to every note is something that we don't always expect, but when you get it, it's a real privilege. And when we played here last year, you could have heard a pin drop in the Spiegel tent, and that's just a dream, a real dream. So I think when you get it, we savour it.
But is it more difficult because your music is often very quiet?
Yes, I think so, and also it's not immediate. I think some of our songs, they build slowly, and I think the thing that I hope that people like about them, and what we try to do, is the song is subtly built by instrumentation, and those things can be lost if people don't give it their full attention. But yeah, we're lucky to play some wonderful places like this, and I think the crowds and the audience they're used to that, and they're used to those sort of bands, and they do give you an enormous amount of attention and respect, which is really nice.
You as a viewer, as a listener, are you into the music if you watch a concert, or is it like, okay, now I check my mobile, oh, there's somebody to talk to, oh, now I drink a beer?
I'd like to listen, yeah. I mean, some festivals you go to, you can tell that the music's just one aspect of the festival. It's often not the main part, and I love festivals where it's just all about the bands, and we've played some fantastic ones this year, and the one that stands out was Orange Blossom Festival. Yeah, we played that. We played headlined the Saturday evening, which was such a huge thing for us, and just before we went on, I think I was really becoming nervous. It was one of the biggest concerts we'd done, and a band before us were quite heavy, loud sounding guitar band. They were great, but they were really loud, and the crowd were really enjoying it. And I was just thinking, I don't know how the Slow Show's going to go on after this and be the headline band. And the owner of the festival came over and sat with me and just said, and maybe he read my mind, but he just said, "Oh, don't be nervous about the show because I've trained this audience they expect a band like you to headline, and they're fantastic." And when we went on, I think there's 5,000 people or something, you could hear it again, you could hear a pin drop, and they were just so wonderful. It's a really special evening. And that festival from 12 in the afternoon until 2 in the morning, it packed for every band, It was fantastic, and a beautiful place like this.
Well, when I first heard your record, I did expect someone completely different. I thought of an older man, with lots of years of experiences so far. And then I saw you, and I mean, it was a nice surprise, don't get me wrong. But I thought, like, wow, what did you do to get this voice?
It's a fluke, I think. I've never sang before in any band, so I think that was probably a nice thing, because I don't even really consider myself a singer. I wouldn't be comfortable singing in any other band. And when we started the Slow Show, myself and Fred started writing songs, and we always said, we'll write the songs and then we'll get a singer. And we wrote some songs for about 6 months, and I sang on the demos, but we always were looking for someone, and we would speak to people, and we didn't really find anyone. And then it became more and more comfortable and for me to sing, and I think singing where I do is I'm really at home there and comfortable, but I'm not very versatile, so that's my thing, and I stick to it. And luckily, I think it works for the songs that I'm singing, and also I realised that I write the lyrics, and I think it's quite tricky to explain to someone else how they should deliver it. So I would have found that quite tricky, and after a while I realised that I think to do the songs justice, I had to know what they're about, and I have to deliver them in a way that's appropriate for the lyrics.
Well, if I had to summarize what they're about, I would say it's love and death. Yeah. I mean, sure, big topics, but what about life?
Yeah, life's in there as well, I think. But I think just the songs are quite, hopefully they're emotive, and people say that the live experience, people are often moved to tears, and I just think from a songwriting point of view, it's a really cathartic thing for me, and when you're dealing with something that's tricky, it's quite ironic, I suppose, because the songs are about things that I'm not comfortable talking to friends or family about, but then you put them on a record and so many thousand people hear them, so it's silly really. But I guess when you write the song, you're not really thinking about that. You just think, it's a method to help you cope with the emotions you have, or to understand how you're feeling. And when you're happy, you're too busy being happy to write songs, I guess. I mean, it just seems like it's certain emotions work well musically for me anyway.
Dresden is, of course, one of the songs. As a German, you think like, oh, he's singing about Dresden. Maybe if you just see the title. What's the song about for you?
The song is about the city, but really it's about the city's role in the band's development. I think Dresden was the first place that we ever went to in Europe on tour. So, and we'd only played, I think, 10 gigs in the UK, something like that, and then we were offered some concerts in mainland Europe, and we arrived from Manchester to Dresden, and it had such an effect on me. I remember arriving, and the architecture was just so dramatic, and it seemed such a theatrical place, and really romantic as well. I'd just never seen anything like it. It was a world away from Manchester, and I just think we all kind of just thought, wow, when we wrote these songs 2 years ago, we never dreamt that we'd go around and play in Dresden or in different parts of the world. And I think it was really encouraging, and also it was a start of being on tour in a band, and being a band. We hadn't been a band before, and some of the things that happened on tour, the good things and the bad, and they're all in there. But Dresden was kind of the focal point, the start of it all, really.
What did you do if this is your first band? Did you work?
Yeah, I didn't get into music until I was a bit older. So I think I was about 25 when I started learning to play the guitar. And then before that, I don't know, I was a bit lost and just trying to find something that I enjoyed and that I was good at. But music, I fell into music really, and then just so lucky to find this band and the brilliant people as well, the great friends. I think because the songs are quite personal, it would be strange playing them with people that I didn't know and that I didn't care about as well. So we're very, very close as a band, and the first 5 people that we tried to make this music are the same 5 people that are in the band now. So they're core members, and it's lovely. I mean, we're all great friends, and I think we don't have to talk about what the songs are about. They sort of make their own minds up, and then they express their songs really well on their instruments, and just as well as any lyrics or singing can do. You know, I think it's a nice group.
When I prepared the interview, there was one article which said you have a kind of a, well, not friendship, but a help from Elbow, another Manchester band I like a lot. How did this come into being? What happened?
Well, we started the band, and we always just thought we'd just write some songs in the studio. It would be a studio band, just a project, just for fun. And then we did a few songs, and we sent them to a friend of ours sent them to BBC Introducing, and we were picked after we'd only done 2 concerts, and we were picked to support Elbow in Manchester at the Cathedral, which was crazy. And we really didn't know what we were doing at all, but we went and did this concert, and it was streamed live in the city centre. There was thousands of people, and it was just a great experience. So we'd sort of bumped into Elbow in the studio. We used the same studio, but so we didn't know them very well, but we met them at this concert, and they've been very supportive, and they're always, whenever we see them, they always ask how we're doing, and we're kind of on a similar, the venues we're playing, they've played them, you know, and it's great, and the people always say that, oh, Elbow played here, and then if we ever see Fred knows Guy, he lives near Guy, and he often says, oh, we played there, it was great, you know, you should play this place next, you know, and so it's nice, and it's just nice to see Manchester bands that are doing well and playing great music, and it sort of spurs you on and shows that it's possible to be true to the music you want to play and do it really well and play in big arenas and things like that. I think they're a great example.
Well, I think with Elbow it's so interesting that it has taken quite a while, yes, you know, that they got success. I mean, they've done, I don't know, 4 records maybe before something really big started. I mean, that's not always the case.
No, I think it's nice to see that. I mean, I think it's much more exciting, and people are often led to believe nowadays that bands do 2 gigs and they get signed and it's huge and they blow up overnight, but it doesn't seem very sustainable. You know, I would worry about that, and I think when you do we've been doing concerts for 100 people, and then we do a festival, and next time we go to that city there might be 200 or 300, and now it's even nicer, and it does seem quite sustainable. It seems like the people that you reach will stick with the band, and I think it's I think it's nice to see that you can develop over time, and it's possible to do it that way as well. It's maybe a more old-fashioned way of making music and doing well, but I think they're a good example of that.
So you are willing that it might take a few years? And
yeah, absolutely. I think we'd prefer that. You know, you seem ready for every step. You know, every step that you take is more, you're prepared for that, and I think we're more than happy to do that. You know, we're in no rush.
Good, so let's meet in 10 years. Then 200,000 people maybe, is that okay?
That sounds a plan, yeah.
Thanks for talking.
No problem, thank you.
Yeah, and enjoy your biggest, or at least on stage, biggest gig.
We'll both, yeah, we will. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, cheers.
Das Ding. Radio, Fernsehen, Internet.